My wife handed me the report. The 6 characters diagnosing schizophrenia caught my eye. Lin Han, I'm sick again. What should we do? I looked at the doctor behind her and sneered. Nothing. Let's get divorced. Zhao Yuan clearly hadn't expected me to say this, her face full of surprise. For more than a year, she had used every excuse, pretending bankruptcy, pretending memory loss, pretending to be insane, constantly torturing me, leaving me physically and mentally exhausted. If this is what she wants, I'll grant her wish. I've known about Zhao Yuan's affair with Li Cheng for quite some time. All this time, she's been trying to force me to say the word divorce. She even produced numerous fake diagnostic reports. When I saw them coming out of the room again, the messy kiss marks had already explained everything. Are you crazy? You want to divorce me? I smiled bitterly and said, isn't this what you've been dreaming of day and night? When she frequently went to the hospital, gradually started staying out all night, making excuses about feeling unwell, and avoiding any physical contact with me. I knew that our relationship had come to an end. Married for 7 years, we've always split expenses equally. She has her own company, and I have my own studio. She said we are both independent individuals, and neither should depend on the other. But seeing Zhao Yuan working so hard, I had to slow down my own pace to take care of her. Now she says, your little studio went bankrupt, didn't it? If it weren't for me, you'd be sleeping on the streets by now. Li Cheng also chimed in. Lin Han, Yuan is emotionally unstable right now. Don't upset her. I looked at Zhao Yuan, my heart filled with bitterness. Is that so? With Dr. Li around, is there any worry about treating her condition? Hearing my sarcastic words, Zhao Yuan angrily shouted. What do you mean? Dr. Li is a surgical genius. We're just friends. I didn't want to hear any more, nor did I want to keep arguing. After leaving home, I went to a bar to drink away my sorrows. Not long after getting married, Zhao Yuan became pregnant. For the sake of her career, she aborted the baby without discussing it with me. She even brainwashed me, saying there are many dinks, double income no kids, nowadays, and it's good not to have children. I compromised, backing down step by step. In the past 3 years, I began to take care of her wholeheartedly. But the result was that she fell in love with someone else and became full of disgust toward me. The next day, I took the prepared divorce agreement and knocked on the door of Zhao Yuan's office. I wore a suit that I hadn't worn for a long time and sat across from her. Zhao Yuan frowned. Lin Han, what do you mean? Are you drunk or have you gone crazy? I smiled self-mockingly. No. Aren't you the one with schizophrenia? Who's really gone crazy here? Zhao Yuan tore up the divorce agreement and looked at me arrogantly. I was just joking with you. Was that necessary? I stood up angrily, my voice turning several degrees colder. Joking? Whether it's true or false, you know in your heart. Since you're unwilling to sign, then we'll go through legal procedures. Zhao Yuan's eyes were full of contempt and mockery. Is that so? Retreating in order to advance? Or are you jealous of Li Cheng? If it's because of that small matter from a while ago, I think you should be more magnanimous. I couldn't help but scoff. Jealous? What right do I have to be jealous? For you, what would count as a big deal? Li Cheng chose that moment to walk out from the room in the office, which was the rest area I had specially designed for Zhao Yuan after our marriage. I hadn't even slept in there twice, yet Li Cheng walked out wearing pajamas. Lin Han, your emotions are really off. Do you have some kind of irritability disorder? Should I recommend a doctor to you? I replied sarcastically. Is that so? You don't go to work, but you enjoy being someone else's little male third party in their office. Zhao Yuan went crazy, picking up items and throwing them all at me. Sharp objects cut open my forehead, and blood flowed down my cheeks. A flash of panic crossed her eyes, but I left with a bitter smile. Employees' voices of gossip arose. What right does Lin Han have to lose his temper at Director Zhao? He's nothing but a kept man. In everyone's eyes, I was nothing more than Zhao Yuan's accessory. Even if I proposed divorce, no one would take me seriously, thinking I was just making empty complaints. I went to the hospital alone to bandage my wound. In the past, Zhao Yuan would have been extremely worried even if I just got a small scratch. She would stay by my side all night, comforting me carefully. But now, there was no longer any place for me in her heart. Coming out of the treatment room, I saw Li Cheng wearing a white coat, confidently blocking my way. He looked down on me, constantly provoking me. Lin Han, who do you think you are? Yuan won't even spare you a glance now. I clenched my fists, not even bothering to give him a look. Do you know how passionate Yuan was with me on your birthday? We were up in the high-rise, watching you wait in the rain for 4 hours. As a green turtle, you can't take this anymore? I haven't even used other methods yet. So, this was the truth. A month ago on my birthday, Zhao Yuan said she'd give me a surprise, but it was just watching me being fooled like an idiot by them. I returned to this home, looking at the mess everywhere, and found it laughable. In previous years, I worried about Zhao Yuan's company and provided her with many resources, even asking friends in the industry not to tell her. I was never just the small boss of a studio, but the CEO of a company about to go public. She always thought I wasn't good enough for her, just a man dependent on her for a living. I began to pack my luggage, not wanting to stay in this home anymore. A friend called, Lin Han, about Zhao Yuan's project. Do as you see fit. The phone was silent for 2 seconds, then continued. Did you two have a fight? I threw the last piece of clothing into the suitcase. No, preparing for divorce. My friend was very surprised. After all, he knew best how much I had given up for Zhao Yuan. Actually, you know that Zhao Yuan's proposal won't work at all, and all these years if it weren't for the sake of your reputation. I pressed my lips together. I know. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Carrying my luggage out of this home, I suddenly felt a sense of relief. In the upscale restaurant, several friends looked at my expression, all becoming somewhat uneasy. Lin Han, why are you getting divorced? I didn't speak, just took a sip of wine, fingers caressing the glass, a mocking smile appearing on my lips. Maybe because I feel I'm not good enough for her. What? With so many girls pursuing you, and your company about to go public, she still looks down on you? My friend immediately became angry. I shook my head, unwilling to say more. While we were drinking, Zhao Yuan appeared on the other side, arm in arm with Li Cheng. When she saw the situation before her, she immediately rushed over and smashed the wine glass on the floor. Lin Han, haven't I told you before, I hate men who drink. I was speechless. Standing up, I asked her, what? You hate men who drink, but you're fine with Li Cheng drinking, is that it? Li Cheng jumped in. I just have a few drinks because of work pressure. Unlike you, hanging out with these good-for-nothing friends. My friends were furious. When had they ever been insulted like this, especially by such an insignificant nobody? I held them back as Zhao Yuan snorted coldly and spoke with complete confidence. If that's how it is, don't bother coming home. I've been suffering from severe insomnia lately and can't stand the stench. Fine. Seeing how quickly I agreed, Zhao Yuan couldn't bear the strange looks from everyone and left with Li Cheng. Seeing this, my friends understood everything. Zhao Yuan simply thought she had some ability now and had found herself a new lover. Late at night, I had just returned to my large apartment in the city center. Zhao Yuan called, saying angrily, where have you been? Are you really not coming back? Do you have a mistress outside? That's why you don't want to come back. I found it truly laughable. She was the one who forced me into this situation, yet now she was speaking with the tone of a victim. No, I think I made myself clear. Let's get divorced. Zhao Yuan cursed a few times, but then laughed. You're not trying to use divorce as an excuse to get more money from me, are you? Since we've operated on a split bill basis from the beginning, I haven't fallen so low that I need a woman's money. After I said this, there was silence for a few seconds on the other end. Just as she was about to speak again, I directly hung up the phone. Li Cheng sent another provocative video. They had set up a candlelit dinner in that home. In the video, Zhao Yuan was holding a wine glass, her face flushed and her eyes unfocused. She had just finished calling me, and now she could enjoy wine and conversation with Li Cheng. Lin Han, I'll take care of Yuan for you tonight. After all, her health has never been good. Previously, I had never replied to such messages. I just wanted to endure it, hoping my pleas might soften Zhao Yuan's heart. I directly replied, take good care of her. After all, she has multiple personality disorder, bankruptcy, amnesia, and many other problems. Oh, and remember to remind her about the divorce, so you can take my place later. Just as I turned off my phone, Zhao Yuan called. Without even thinking, I already knew what she wanted to say. I immediately set my phone to do not disturb mode, then went to the bathroom to shower. Li Cheng, during a clinic visit, kept flirting with Zhao Yuan, frightening her about many potential illnesses she might have, and little by little, the two deepened their relationship. And her scheming became more elaborate, pretending to be sick, actually wanting me to leave with nothing, filing for divorce. Step by step testing my boundaries, becoming increasingly demanding. Now I've given up, and I imagine she must be quite satisfied. The next morning, I went to a nearby construction site, and to avoid drawing attention, I dressed very casually. With a helmet on my head, the manager who was following me finished talking with me and went to arrange the work. Suddenly, a familiar mocking voice came from behind. Lin Han, are you really that desperate? Yesterday you talked to me about divorce, and today you're trying to gain sympathy at a construction site? Even if your studio went bankrupt, I could still give you 100,000. I turned around to see Zhao Yuan surrounded by her entourage, with Li Cheng by her side. They were indeed inseparable, with purple-blue hickeys on their necks, evidence of an intense night. Li Cheng even stepped forward and pushed my shoulder. Lin Han quickly apologized to Yuan, and perhaps she might reluctantly give you some pocket money. I punched Li Cheng directly in the face, giving off an unapproachable aura. We're not even divorced yet, but you're already acting like the man of the house. Zhao Yuan pushed me away, protected Li Cheng, and yelled at me. How dare you lay hands on Li Cheng? I clearly saw the worry in her eyes, and also the pain. Why not? If you're in such a hurry, Go ahead and sign the papers. There's still a 1-month cool. ING off period. This way you two can be a proper couple, better than being a pair of illicit lovers. As soon as my sarcastic words fell, she delivered a resounding slap to my face. Lin Han, if you want a divorce, let's divorce. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau right now. Li Cheng added fuel to the fire, saying, I just want to take care of Yuan Yuan. I don't want to replace your position. Zhao Yuan was already the type who couldn't handle provocation, and hearing this, she told the driver to step on the gas even faster. After completing the procedures at the Civil Affairs Bureau, she still maintained that haughty attitude. If you can't make it on your own in the future, don't come begging me. I looked at the two people in front of me. Fine, from now on we'll keep to ourselves. After saying this, I left this place. The company still had a pile of matters waiting for me to handle. I didn't want to waste time on them. Just for the time being, don't let Zhao Yuan know about the company's upcoming IPO to avoid unnecessary complications. After the cooling-off period passed halfway through, I went to attend a charity auction on this day. Just as I entered the door, I saw Zhao Yuan holding Li Cheng's hand, sitting in the corner. High society charity auctions serve two purposes. On one hand, to display one's own influence, and on the other hand, to make connections. Since losing my secret support, Zhao Yuan's company had declined significantly. She tried to engage others in conversation, but no one paid any attention to her. I sat in the center of the front row, and Zhao Yuan immediately exploded. She walked up to me and pulled at my sleeve. Lin Han, have you gone crazy? This is not a place where a construction worker like you should sit. Li Cheng, faced with this scene, seemed somewhat intimidated, but still said loudly, That's right, where did you borrow these clothes from? Don't think wearing dragon robes makes you a prince. I looked at them with contempt and said coldly, The auction is about to begin. It's not appropriate for you to be making such a commotion. Zhao Yuan clenched her jaw tightly. Don't come asking me to borrow money later. The auction began, with small items at the start, worth hundreds of thousands or a few million. Zhao Yuan raised her paddle several times, but didn't dare to actually bid. Later, an authentic work by a famous artist appeared, with a starting price of 30 million. My cool voice resonated throughout the auction hall. 50 million. Zhao Yuan's eyes almost popped out. After all, this was half a year's profit for her company. 50 million. Does anyone want to bid higher? Since it was a charity auction, this price was already quite high. Everyone fell silent, until the hammer fell, accompanied by a loud noise from behind. It turned out that Zhao Yuan wanted to leave and accidentally knocked over her chair. She covered her face as she left, and felt secretly relieved when she exited the venue. Lucky she left quickly, otherwise Lin Han might have tried to borrow money from her. This Lin Han is really generous when he spends. Indeed, his company is going public next month. Would he miss a few tens of millions? Zhao Yuan grabbed the middle-aged man's arm and asked in disbelief, Who did you say? Lin Han. Going public. She turned around and rushed back. I had just finished talking with the person in charge here when Zhao Yuan returned. She looked me up and down, then asked suspiciously, Didn't your studio go bankrupt? How could it become a listed company? I frowned slightly, and my assistant had already pulled Zhao Yuan away. Ma'am, Mr. Lin is in a meeting, please leave. Li Cheng followed closely behind, still shouting recklessly. Lin Han, don't think you can fool us by hiring people to act. Zhao Yuan's face instantly turned unpleasant. In this kind of place, and in that position, how could there be any possibility of faking it? Several friends who were also walking out from inside saw Zhao Yuan and Li Cheng, and their expressions became somewhat awkward. Li Cheng asked in surprise, What are you all doing here? His friend Meng Lang spoke up, Why not? All of us drinking buddies can sit in the front row, so how come you respectable folks are sitting in the corner? The person behind this banquet was Meng Lang. No wonder, according to Zhao Yuan's status, she shouldn't have been at this place. It seems Meng Lang also wanted to vent anger on my behalf. Li Cheng's face immediately fell, and he deliberately said, My family consists of intellectuals, unlike you nouveau riche. Yuan, I will take good care of you in the future. Hearing the sense of superiority in Li Cheng's words, I couldn't help but laugh. Really? Intellectuals? I remember you graduated from a very ordinary undergraduate institution. You don't think that having a bachelor's degree makes you an intellectual, do you? Zhao Yuan sheltered Li Cheng behind her, full of resentment. Lin Han, you deceived me. You never actually went bankrupt. Didn't you also deceive me, saying you were just friends? I said with a smile. Several friends, led by Meng Lang, also began to tease them. Yes, Manager Zhao is young and promising. How could Lin Han be worthy of you? They're about to get their divorce certificate, and this intellectual should step up. Li Cheng couldn't stand it anymore and was about to throw a punch when Zhao Yuan pulled him away. Enough! Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough today? Zhao Yuan gave me a deep look, then disappeared at the end of the hallway. Previously, she might not have paid any attention to a penniless Lin Han, but seeing how successful he was today, With his company about to go public, Zhao Yuan's heart began to waver, and looking at Li Cheng before she felt somewhat annoyed. Today she had hoped to establish connections with these people, but now it seemed that all her plans had fallen through. Yuan, why are you pulling me away? That Lin Han is obviously deceiving you. Don't tell me you're thinking of getting back together with him. Hearing Li Cheng's words, Zhao Yuan directly shouted, Li Cheng, how can you be so short-sighted? With just this one sentence, Li Cheng angrily left. He had already endured a lot of humiliation today, and now to be belittled by Zhao Yuan as well. His typically fragile self-esteem couldn't take it. Zhao Yuan stood in the same spot for a long time, beginning to regret her earlier decision. Meng Lang patted my shoulder. Actually, I had wanted to discuss this matter with you, but you've been too busy lately. I smiled, without saying anything. When walking out of the venue, I saw Zhao Yuan still standing at the entrance, not having left. She tried to approach me, but was stopped again. Lin Han, why are you treating me like this? Is it really so difficult for spouses to speak truthfully to each other? How many truthful things have you ever said to me? I couldn't even be bothered to give her a glance as I directly got into the car. From the moment we got married, Zhao Yuan placed great importance on financial matters. Although our relationship was still decent at that time, we followed her request to split expenses evenly. She was very afraid that I would lay claim to the fruits of her labor, so I rarely even visited her company. Ever since her emotional infidelity and physical infidelity, creating one tragicomic drama after another, my love for Zhao Yuan began to gradually dissipate. Late at night, I was still working overtime at the company, ensuring everything was perfect before the company went public. Until the day before we got our divorce certificate, Zhao Yuan ignored everyone's attempts to stop her and burst into my office. Her eyes were red as she said, Lin Han, what did you do to my company? Why are all the previously cooperating manufacturers rejecting my proposals? I calmly put my documents aside and spoke with indifference. All these years your company has been sailing smoothly. You don't really think it was because of your outstanding abilities, do you? When you met my friends, didn't they seem familiar to you? These two simple sentences struck Zhao Yuan so hard that her body trembled slightly. She had truly become accustomed to smooth sailing all these years, succeeding in everything she wanted to do. But she never once thought that it was all because of my help behind the scenes. Zhao Yuan pressed her lips together, then scoffed. Even without your help, so what? I believe that with my own abilities, I could definitely carve out my own path to success. A hint of amusement appeared in my eyes. It seems she really doesn't have a clear understanding of her own abilities. Whatever you want. Hearing my cold words, Zhao Yuan stomped her feet in anger, yet felt helpless. She had struggled to find the location of my company, and if not for sneaking past the security guard when he wasn't paying attention, she wouldn't even have had the chance to come up. Fine, I can finally see what kind of person you really are. After saying this, Zhao Yuan turned to leave, but I stopped her. Wait. Her eyebrows immediately lifted with a hint of smile, even showing confidence. Tomorrow we'll get the divorce certificate. You'd better arrive early. Zhao Yuan turned to look at me, her chest heaving with anger. Fine, Lin Han. Good for you. 7 years of marriage. Can you really let it go so easily? I deepened my tone, looking into her eyes with no emotion. Who was the first to give up on this marriage? Zhao Yuan was escorted out by security. She couldn't understand how things had turned out this way. Her legs weakened, and she sat down on a roadside bench, completely losing her composure. Looking at the skyscrapers before her, the feeling of injustice in her heart grew increasingly intense. She simply couldn't believe it. Without Lin Han's help, how could she possibly go bankrupt? The next day, at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Zhao Yuan held Li Cheng's hand, waiting early at the entrance. The two were completely unabashed, dressed in matching bright red outfits. Anyone who didn't know better would think they were there to get their marriage certificate today. Li Cheng raised his eyebrows at me with a slight smile. Lin Han, you don't mind me coming along with Yuan, do you? I mockingly replied, not at all. One who cheats with such righteousness, and one whose face is thicker than a city wall as the affair partner. Zhao Yuan still protected Li Cheng, warning me, Lin Han, Li Cheng is my boyfriend now, and I won't allow you to speak about him like that. She harbored resentment, as if trying to prove her choice wasn't wrong. Even during moments of inner wavering, she decisively chose to establish a relationship with Li Cheng. But when she sat down at the service window, Zhao Yuan instinctively wanted to run away. I need to use the restroom. I deliberately provoked her. What? Are you trying to run away? After years together, how could I not know Zhao Yuan's thoughts? She cares about her face more than anything. Otherwise, when I secretly helped her before, I wouldn't have dared to let her know. Sure enough, she immediately sat back down. I'll sign it. You think I'm afraid of you? After collecting the divorce certificate, Zhao Yuan was still mocking me. Don't let your company go bankrupt right after going public. In these years, you've only improved at housework. Everything else seems useless. Whether I'm capable or not, you don't need to know. After saying this, I drove away, really wanting to see how brilliantly she could live without me. Meng Lang told me that Zhao Yuan's company has been doing worse lately, and Li Cheng couldn't help at all, causing them to argue constantly. Zhao Yuan thought Li Cheng was a gentle and caring man who had some achievements in medicine. But ever since finding out that the so-called intellectual was actually just someone whose parents had only graduated from high school, and the only house they owned was mortgaged, she became disillusioned, and all her previous admiration for Li Cheng shattered completely. I treated it as just a joke, completely uninterested in dealing with these trivial matters. After the company's successful IPO, there was also a research project on enhancing communication equipment signals. During this period, I spent every day researching equipment and code. This project was very important, and the local leadership was very supportive. 3 months later, just as I was getting off work, I saw Zhao Yuan chasing after a young man. We worked on this proposal for a month, and this is already the 5th version. You can't just say it doesn't work without explanation. Ms. Zhao, considering our previous cooperation, I've already given you plenty of time, but you can't just try to fool me with these things. The young man waved her off, causing Zhao Yuan to stumble and nearly lose her balance. I pretended not to have seen anything and walked toward my car. However, Zhao Yuan blocked my path, looking at me with gritted teeth. It's all your fault. You're the reason my company can't operate normally anymore. Lin Han, don't you think what you're doing is disgusting? I frowned at her, then mockingly curled my lips. You think I deliberately targeted your studio and made all your business partners break ties with you? Sometimes, you should look more for the cause within yourself. Zhao Yuan had nowhere to vent her hatred. She had tried many solutions, but her company was simply impossible to keep running. Lin Han, you're playing with me on purpose, aren't you? I couldn't be bothered with her and just drove away. Her company's bankruptcy had nothing to do with me. It was just that Meng Lang and the others had spread the word that Zhao Yuan divorced me, telling everyone they didn't need to show any courtesy anymore. Zhao Yuan had already offended many people in this circle. Previously, I was the one who helped her handle all these behind-the-scenes matters. Now that people knew she had no backing, they divided up all her company's resources completely. Even if Zhao Yuan wanted to salvage the situation now, it would be virtually impossible. Before I got home, Meng Lang called and said we should go out for dinner. At the restaurant, I recognized Dong Yiran just from her silhouette. She had wavy, curled hair and smiled at me. Lin Han, long time no see. Long time no see. Ying Yiran was a childhood friend of mine and Meng Lang's. If it weren't for the economic downturn in China a few years ago, which made her family shift their business focus overseas, we would have been together all this time. Dong Yiran smiled and said, Lin Han is still so outstanding, to have grown the company to the point of going public. I hear you're now our Circle's angel investor, and basically any project you choose never loses money. I sat beside her, equally affirming her excellence. Dong Yiran raised her eyebrows, took a sip of wine, and a soft critical comment came through. It's just his taste in women that's somewhat lacking. Meng Lang tugged at Dong Yiran's arm and laughed awkwardly twice. You know how Yiran always speaks straightforwardly. I laughed out loud. What you say makes a lot of sense. By the end of the dinner, Director Yiran looked at me with increasingly brazen, undisguised glances. Seeing this, Meng Lang immediately made a quick exit. No matter what I asked, Director Yiran wouldn't say anything, and it was again 2 o'clock in the morning. After some thought, I still decided to bring her back to my home. As soon as we entered, Director Yiran directly pinned me against the wall. Lin Han, would you consider me? I suddenly realized that she had been pretending all along. Yiran, we are friends. Director Yiran no longer maintained her strong, independent demeanor and spoke with tear-filled eyes. What friends? When I went abroad years ago, I left a confession letter inside the doll I gave you. Why didn't you respond? Even if it was rejection, you should have made it clear. I frowned deeply and thought for a long time before finally recalling this matter in my memory. But I had no idea there was any confession letter inside that doll. After she gave it to me, it just stayed at home, untouched. I didn't discover it. My voice was hoarse, and I felt somewhat afraid to face her. Back then, I was solely focused on working hard, and if I hadn't met Zhao Yuan, I wouldn't have slowed down my pace. The company should have gone public several years ago. Dong Yiran's tears fell continuously like broken strings of pearls. So, can you give me a chance now? I shook my head, pushed her away, and said with full remorse, I'm sorry, Yiran, I'm not ready to start a new relationship yet. Aren't you already divorced? Is it that you still can't forget that woman? No, I just want to be alone for a while. Dong Yiran formed a desolate smile and staggered toward the door, preparing to leave. I grabbed her hand. It's late, and you've had quite a bit to drink. The guest room is clean. In the end, she stomped her foot and chose to return to the room. From this day forward, Dong Yiran began appearing constantly in my life. She also invested shares in my company and simply took over part of the work. Regarding Talent Seal, Tian, Dong Yuran indeed had a unique eye. Everyone was an adult and wouldn't be overly petty about what happened that night. When Dong Yuran was accompanying me out of the shopping mall, we happened to run into Zhao Yuan and Li Cheng arguing. Zhao Yuan pointed at him and asked, "Where did all the money you took from me go?" Li Cheng pushed her away with an impatient look. "Wasn't that a gift from you to me? There's no logic in taking back something that's been given away." Zhao Yuan had reached her wit's end, shouting hoarsely, "Then why don't I see you driving the car I bought you? What are you hiding from me?" An older woman rushed out from behind and slapped Zhao Yuan across the face. "My son didn't even mind that you're second-hand goods. What's wrong with taking some money from you? His brothers and sisters are still relying on him, and you're already bankrupt, so just get lost." Zhao Yuan was stunned from the slap and wanted to fight back, but she was no match for the mother and son in front of her. She collapsed to the ground, looking at Li Cheng with resentment. "You were deceiving me from the beginning? Just because of my money. Now that I have nothing, you want to leave?" Li Cheng's face was full of annoyance as he straightened his sleeves, completely ignoring Zhao Yuan. "Mom, let's go." "Yes, son, the next one will be better." I quietly asked Dong Yuran beside me, "Is this the real reason you asked me to come shopping with you?" Dong Yuran smiled and tilted her head. "Yes, it is." I suddenly found it amusing that the always measured Dong Yuran also had such girlish thoughts. "Now that we've seen the drama, we should leave too." "Lin Han, you're not angry, are you?" Hearing Dong Yuran's words, I shook my head. "No." Regarding Zhao Yuan, I had already done everything I could, and besides, this marriage had ended long ago. Whatever her final outcome might be, what does it have to do with me? Zhao Yuan rushed up anxiously from behind. Seeing Director Iran beside me, she pointed at her and asked, "Who is she?" "Lin Han, you couldn't have moved on to someone else in such a short time, could you? Who do you think you are?" "Zhao Yuan, don't forget, we're already divorced." Hearing my words, Zhao Yuan immediately lost her composure. "You deceived me first. From the beginning, you planned to divorce me. You never loved me." I roared back at her. "Who was the one who changed? You had an affair with Li Cheng during our marriage. Now you have nothing left, and you still expect me to forgive you." From the start, I wanted to clarify everything with her. It was Zhao Yuan who advocated for splitting bills. It was her who valued money so much. To say I never loved her is absurd. How could we have gotten married without feelings? When we first met, we were in a restaurant. The moment our eyes met, I felt my heart pound violently. It was as if that moment marked the appearance of my destined person. After 7 years of marriage and her 3 years of infidelity, I've already given her countless chances. It was Zhao Yuan who always believed money came first, thinking that with money and capability, one could occupy all positions in a relationship. But how can one person's effort maintain a marriage between two people? On the way home, Dong Yuran asked me, "Will you help her?" "No," I answered with certainty. Zhao Yuan's current situation is entirely of her own making. The next morning, just as I arrived at the company, my assistant came in and said, Zhao Yuan was causing a scene downstairs, wanting to see me. But after the incident when Zhao Yuan barged into my office last time, no one dared to let her in. If she continues to make trouble, call the police. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the overcast sky outside and Zhao Yuan standing below. A familiar scene, just like the day I was abandoned. The same heavy rain fell, yet Zhao Yuan showed no intention of leaving. The rain outside the window grew heavier, and the view of the ground below gradually blurred. Dong Yuran knocked on the door and came in, asking if I wanted to have dinner together. I agreed and got in the car with Dong Yuran to go to the restaurant. Just as we were leaving the parking lot, Zhao Yuan blocked our way. She stood in the heavy rain, with a somewhat resolute expression on her face. I got out of the car and saw her miserable state in the downpour. Zhao Yuan bit her lip and spoke reluctantly. "Lin Han, how could you do this to me? Now I have nothing left. Are you happy now?" I looked at her without emotion and said, "What does your having nothing have to do with me? You're blocking my car. Are you trying to scam me?" "I'm not." "What scam? If it's not a scam, then why are you blocking my car? What do you want to say?" In the heavy rain, Zhao Yuan's face was covered with what could have been rainwater or tears. Her eyes were red, and her lips moved several times as if wanting to speak, but she remained silent. I warned her, "Don't come to my company again. I will absolutely not see you." When Zhao Yuan saw I was about to leave, she finally revealed her true intentions. "I have nowhere to live now, and I don't have enough money. Could you lend me some?" I refused directly. "No." Zhao Yuan was stunned, thinking she hadn't heard clearly. After seeing the expression on my face, her demeanor immediately changed. She shouted, "Lin Han, if you hadn't deceived me, how would I have ended up in this situation? Can't you even help me with this small favor?" "Help you with what? Between us, who deceived whom first? Haven't you brought this situation upon yourself? You were the one who cheated first, the one who guarded that small company, afraid I would take advantage of you. And it was you who made up all those symptoms, just wanting me to leave with nothing. Now you've gotten what you wanted, so why aren't you happy? After speaking coldly, I ignored her pale face. I waved my hand, and the security guards had no choice but to brave the heavy rain and drive Zhao Yuan away again. She collapsed by the roadside, transferring all the hatred in her heart onto Li Cheng. A few days later, I saw the biggest headline in the local news. A certain hospital's attending physician had been seducing wealthy women under the pretext of medical consultations. Each time, he would use various psychological diagnoses to frighten these women, while taking the opportunity to engage in in-depth discussions. The amount of money he had defrauded reached over 100 million. I had known all along what kind of man Li Cheng was, from a family without much money, with younger brothers and sisters to support. An overconfident man with humble origins who never refused an opportunity and harbored deep ulterior motives. Now Li Cheng has been sentenced, and the person who reported him was Zhao Yuan. She has always been vindictive as ever. She once liked Li Cheng so much that I thought their feelings for each other were profound. Back then, I liked Zhao Yuan and was willing to give her everything. Seeing her current situation, I can only feel somewhat rueful. Dong Yiran told me that when Zhao Yuan was with me back then, it was just because she thought my appearance was acceptable and that she could easily manipulate me. She expressed her love for me again, but I still chose to refuse. Now, I don't want to talk about relationships anymore. I just want to focus on my work. Zhao Yuan tried to find me several more times, but after visiting the police station a few times, she became much more restrained. In the 3 years that followed, my company became one of the best in the country. But I didn't have any scandals, which made me quite unusual in this circle. Dong Yiran helped fend off many potential romances for me, and after waiting so long without getting any response from me, she left the country again. On the day she left, with reddened eyes, she asked me, "Is there really no chance between us at all?" I looked at her calmly and said, "I'm sorry." After that, I never saw Dong Yiran again. Then one day by chance, while driving on the road, I saw Zhao Yuan handing out flyers on the street.